Welcome to Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days. I love how you just however it is you start, but as soon as you get into Exiled, there's something about how you say exiled where you're always like, exiled. It's like Welcome, you're exhaling, exiles. But it's to be exiled, it's just sexy. And you have to say it's sexy.
232, episode 232 of Forever Exiled. Here we are. Thanks everybody for joining us. Big shout out to our patrons. Thanks Kronk for joining our Patreon this week, and everybody else who resubbed up. We love your faces. Patreon gets you access to After Dark. It's our podcast. After the podcast, where it's fully unscripted, and well, everything is unscripted, but it's extra unscripted, and it's fun. So sold it.
Yeah, you did. I'm just turning your volume up again. It's just you, man.
I love how often you have to edit.
It's just
audio levels. You're the only person I know that has to change levels often. It's funny.
No, I always don't want to have you at 200%. So I turn you down again often.
I'm just checking. Yeah, my recording levels are good. So so here we are, 232. Oh yeah, big shout out. I think I said this in After Dark last week, but I meant to say it in our main episode. I just wanted to say Rory from customer support at Grinding Gear Games. Whoever Rory is from customer support, love your face. We did our private league, and buying our winning awards for our private league is not always the funnest process for me, and dealing with Grinding Gear Games is sometimes it's hard to give them money because they make you jump through some crazy hoops for it. But man, Rory, my guy, it was so easy this time. It never is that easy. It was so nice to have it go so smoothly. So thank you, Rory.
So Justin's going to buy you a drink if we ever meet up one day.
Yeah, if we're ever at an event and you say, "Oh, hey, I'm Rory from Grinding Your Games. Support Rory." I'll buy you a drink.
Yeah, would that be a great shirt? Support Rory.
Mm-hmm. That should be a shirt. Yeah.
All customer support teams shouldn't say customer support Rory. No. It should say support Rory or support Stacy anyway. Or whoever it is.
Support Rory. You should support Rory because Rory is the best.
I'm going to walk around with support Tyler shirts. Thanks to Rory.
How's your week? Mon frere, Tyler's sick again, so I got the notepad ready to go.
Yeah, I am. So I don't know, I used to have, my wife used to joke around that it didn't matter. Anytime someone was sick, it didn't matter to me. I never had to isolate myself or make sure that I was
in the sense that you wouldn't get sick, or
it varied. I got sick maybe once a year, and sure. I guess in other places in the world, I guess that's the normal, getting sick so rarely. And apparently we out here get sick quite often. But either way, yes, people get sick quite often out here, and I rarely would get sick. Of course, I was very sick after my surgery and the infection that I had. So we're talking prior to that. My wife would always make fun of me, the fact that I just had this superior immune system, and
it's gone.
Apparently, since my nose surgery, which I'm very thankful for.
Sure.
Now it's I got another cold, but it feels so different. My whole nasal system feels different. When I'm clogged, it's a totally different feeling when, it's
since the surgery, you mean?
Feel the gross stuff moving around.
Sure.
Touching very new places that never existed before. And so it all feels different. But remember when I was coughing throughout the whole January, February business, and how old man and death-like it sounded?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think this is just a normal cough or illness. And it sounds like it. It's getting that high pitched trumpet wheezing coming out, something's wrong, or I got a squeaky ball in my lungs.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah, I'm just sick. It's fine.
Anybody else sick in the house, or just you?
Yeah, I got it. I gave it to everybody.
You asshole.
Yeah, you betcha. You bet your buns. So my poor wife, spring break's just starting. My daughter's birthday weekend is this coming weekend.
Happy birthday, bye.
So she got sick. Thank you. She says thank you. And oh man, I remember once Christina was gone with the girls. I forget where, and you were home alone.
Oh, they were overseas.
You bought gifts
when I came to the
for
birthday,
my daughter's birthday. Yeah. And
I'm not the one that should be safely buying
well,
gifts.
that's the joke. Is Christina normally would buy the gifts for whoever it is that they're going to, and Justin's like, what do I buy? What do I do? Is this too much? Is this too little? Justin came over like Santa Claus, and it was just and here you go, and here you go, and here you go.
He gave it all in
and so he just, instead of just buying one thing to find on the list, he just bought it all. So that was a great That was great. Both of my kids that year, thanks to you, they still have those pillows and things. Oh,
I don't remember what they were, but that's cool.
No, that's fine. So anyway, her birthday weekend's coming up, and my wife took some extra time off just because it's spring break with the kids, and I got them sick just in time. And then, of course, what is it? Is it? It's not this weekend, but next weekend for us. We celebrate Easter here.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
And so no matter what it is that you celebrate for Easter, but we'll congratulate that later. But, we're planning that. And of course, we're at the stage now where like my mom is at an age where if we're sick, we're probably just not going to hang out with her.
Sure.
So
hopefully you're good. That's 2 weeks. You got time. Colds don't typically last that long.
Yeah, we'll see. So maybe my immune system just needs a restart of, like when kids go to elementary school, you just shove them to school every day, get those germs, get that stuff, and then you're totally fine for high school. Never sick again. I should show
you some pills you should check out. They're like natural.
I was going to joke that for the first time in forever, I'm the one that's drugged up for an episode and not Justin.
I typically am drugged up.
What are the... Yeah, it doesn't even matter. I'm feeling great. Let's drug up. What are these natural pills?
I'll show you them later. It's a mushroom base, but they're actually really good. Christina and I really like them.
Yeah, and a cat had to crap it out.
Whatever it takes
for a certain amount of time. Yeah, right. And okay, cool.
Well, that's good. Anything else this week, or is that it?
That's it, man. It crushed me. Like today's is like the first good day I've had in maybe 3 days. Yesterday was a day where I got just smashed in the face. Before that, it didn't feel cold stuff. It's weird. Like when you're used to symptoms, you can kind of, I'm still naive with it. I experience the symptoms, but it's not like I actually know. It's not like I have, I'm connected to some supercomputer and it's telling me everything. But it's kind of like you can kind of tell if it's a cold that's wiping you out or my concussion symptoms that are wiping me out. Okay. So like yesterday I was a deadbeat because it was the worst day, like the pinnacle of my illness. But the day before that, I had a brutal concussion day because the day before that, and it was very kind, but a friend took me to a hockey game. Ryan took me to a hockey game, which was really awesome. Thank you, Ryan. And then that very next day, I went for a drive into a neighboring city to have lunch with a friend. And that stuff's just so much for me. And so that very next day, I was a deadbeat concussion wise because I had like nothing left in the tank. So it was just a deadbeat day, and you can tell the house sucks. The bathroom's gross. The entrance is nasty. So,
well, hopefully it doesn't last too long.
Yeah, well, it'll be fine. I'll be fine. Like tomorrow, even today or tomorrow, it'll be good. And anyway, I have to not be sick for Sunday because that's when Violet has all of her friends come over. So,
are they doing like just a birthday day sleepover?
No, we're going to an event center close by, and nice. Yeah, we've had 3 people respond now, which is good.
There you go.
Finally, we had. Yeah, well, originally she's just going to have one person show up. So,
well, that's cool.
She doesn't have the self-esteem for a poor showing. How about you? You had a good week?
Yeah, it was a good week. What did I do? Let me just make a note. We went away last weekend, which was fun. And then we're taking off tomorrow. So I got to get all of our stuff edited because I won't be here for Sunday when it releases. So, and then next weekend we're off to Victoria, which is going to be fun.
Okay. So can you say where you went last weekend? I don't remember if you mentioned it last weekend.
We went to, it's called the River Rock Casino. It's just a hotel thing. Yep. It was fun. It was for a buddy's birthday. I'd have to say though, there's a place down by the airport called the Flying Beaver. Yeah, it's called the Flying Beaver. You were mentioning
that when we were playing either Age of Empires or Race Night. I forget.
Yeah, if you live in like the Lower Mainland or West Coast BC, if you're ever in the Richmond Airport area, look up the Flying Beaver. It's this little pub restaurant. Oh my god, though the appies and drinks are so good. We've never ordered a meal there ever. We just order like appies through the night.
You spend twice as much because you just want all the appies.
Oh, the appies are so good, and their drinks are amazing. Like they are one of the places that know how to make an old fashioned. Like they're so good. They're not smoked, but they're still very good. But and then we're off this weekend, and then next week I'm looking forward to next weekend. We're gonna go see Ethan, go hang out on the island, so that'll be fun. What else happened this week? Okay, well I don't normally talk, like we don't typically get into like politic type stuff when we talk, but
sure,
I am very excited. No, not this time. Well, not, I don't say this time, and just in general, I cannot wait for our next election. I'm so tired of Canada right now. Our carbon tax is going up massive. Like April 1 is going to be interesting.
Expensive.
Yeah, it's bananas. Like it's a 23% increase on carbon tax. Did you know that we pay GST on a tax? So in Canada, we have, in BC, we have two taxes, a provincial sales tax and a federal tax. And I did not realize that they tax a tax in Canada. We tax
depending on the item that it is.
Well,
yeah,
in this particular
item.
case, we pay a carbon tax, which is just goofball silly. Like it's like one of the lowest emitting countries in the world, and we tax our carbon, but then they tax that tax. I couldn't believe that. That's insane. So anyway, I can't wait. The
opposition doesn't have to have an attacking attitude towards the Liberal government this go around. You know how last time the conservatives were just like, it was a very immature marketing strategy where they would just attack and attack and attack the Liberals. There was nothing about their actual platform.
The conservatives also had a goofball. Like that Andrew guy was not like, they're pretty good this time. I think that they're going to do fine.
Well, they're smarter, but they have like the Liberals have just done a lot, whether you agree with it or not. They've just done a lot that are going to be easy to vote against, whether you like the Liberals or not.
Yeah, I don't have necessarily anything against the Liberal Party. I just cannot stand Trudeau. I cannot stand the stuff they're doing right now. And just the amount of debt we've racked up over the last number of years is bananas. And I hate the idea that taxing it is the way to fix it. So
well, that's how our country goes, though. The Liberals spend tons of money for 8 years. Then the Conservatives come in for 4 years and cut budgets like mad and try and fix it. And then, you know, because all the features and services are gone because of trying to save the budget.
It's not always been this bad, though.
Then they go back to the Liberals, and then we go back to Conservatives, and then the poor NDP and the Green Party, they just never get a shot. They're struggling the Liberals, with like 4
seats. The NDP
seats.
this time did. In order to beat out the Conservatives, the NDP and the Liberals joined forces so they could have a majority government, which did not go well for Canada
love that.
at all. No.
And the Green Party tried that last go around too with the NDP.
Yeah. I got it. Marking it. 1306. Look at you. It's always ended in a 6. Go ahead.
High five for Canadian politics, people. Anybody else really excited to hear the next
18% of our demographic fits into that. That's pretty decent. 18% of listeners are Canadians, and just
right. And 50% of them are in Alberta, which we make fun of more than anyone else.
Well, the benefit is I know Alberta is going like, okay, Liberals, your time was like 6 years ago. Get out.
They've had a beef.
Yeah. So anyway, so I put a
get
note.
It, beef.
So I put a note in Trello here so I wouldn't forget. Now I woke up yesterday. Christina, I woke up in the morning and she's like, what was going on with you last night while you were sleeping? Which is always a funny question because it's like, my eyes were closed and I was sleeping. Apparently in the middle of the night, I like woke her up because sometimes it's not often, but I do talk in my sleep. And apparently I was like, how does a circle work? And then I went back to sleep.
That's your note?
Yeah. And you know, what's funny.
That was my note. My goodness. That's hilarious. Okay, go for it.
I said to her actually last night when we were going to bed, I'm like, the funniest part is I don't often add notes to our Trello, but Tyler's going to see that I put in how does a circle work and go like, what was I thinking? What was my mental
That's exactly what I was thinking. Okay, no, keep going because I'm interrupting. We know what we're talking about, but maybe we're not finishing our sentences. So
I added a note to Trello so I wouldn't forget. I wake up in the middle of the night, apparently, and I said to Christina, how does a circle work? And then I went back to sleep and she was laughing. She's like, what were you dreaming about? I'm like, I don't know. But then it got me thinking. I was like, that's a very interesting question. How does a circle work? So what was funny is that morning I actually was like, Google, how does a circle work? And Google, she responds and she's like, well, the here's how you calculate the diameter and the circumference. You just screwed up
Nav's podcast as he's driving around.
That's why I didn't say okay first or hey. But the best part was after it finished saying it, I was like, yeah, okay, but how does it work? And I've never heard Google stutter or stammer before, but the girl's response on my Google said, she goes, sorry, what?
Really?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Because that's a legitimate answer to asking how does a circle work. But anyway, that was my note.
That's hilarious, because I used to think when I was a kid, before I started asking all these questions, we'd be driving around to, whichever grandma or grandpa we're visiting, right? And I'm a younger kid. And we'd be listening to cassette tapes. My dad was a big singer, so a lot of the time it was like a cappella stuff. And in my head, I'm like, it would be so exhausting to be a singer, because every time someone wants to listen to you, you hit the button in the car and you have to start singing from wherever you are. Like, I used to think that a cassette tape was always live radio. And so whoever was singing had to sing whenever we hit play. Right. And there would be a button that would show up. So that's what I picture when you said that, like the lady who's the Google voice is like, what?
Hearing Google stutter was, I don't know why, but it made me laugh. Both of us started laughing.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then this morning I woke up and was accused of cheating on Christina in her dream. And I was like, well,
in her dream.
In her dream. I always love when she's like, I didn't have a good dream. You cheated on me. I'm like, well, I'm laying right here. And I was dreaming about, I was driving my Ford Probe in my dream.
That's right. That's right. So, automatic seat belts, lady.
Oh, it's awesome. So cool.
Oh man.
Light blue. Yeah. Anyway, it's a good week. Yeah. Busy with work, but like I said last week, things are good.
Did you actually, when you wrote "How does a circle work," did you actually think that I would think that was my note?
Not at the moment that I made the note, but last night when we were, when you hear me talk weird, it's because I'm trying to write a note at the same time.
Which is about me coughing.
A cough. Did I just hear a dad? Do you have kids at home?
No, I have a cat meowing really loud.
I wrote the note not thinking that, but then when I was talking to Christina and I was laughing to her that I had put the note in, and that's when it hit me. And I'm like, I didn't actually note that it was my note, but I don't often add it to Trello. And I was laughing to her. I'm like, he's going to see that and think he put it in there, and then try to rack his brain. Like, what was my thought process?
That's why I bumped it up when I'm going through the notes and organize. I even marked this note, people, as my color to bring it up. And so that's why I brought it up before. How was my week? Because I was like,
how would you have brought that up?
Well, no, because it would have been like, okay, Justin, I probably was talking to Google. I probably said something else. What PoE or life related sounds like? How does a circle work? And then you would solve it like you normally do. And then away we go.
I have people coming by the house today, so I'm going to try not to be interrupted, but I need to get the gutters replaced. So
I've got the people gutters
quoting. Yeah, they're original to the house, and they're having issues, and we've tried to have them repaired, but it's past that point. So I got to get some quotes done for.
I was gutters. Pleased with the roofing guy that we used. If you would like me to send you their contact
you can send me the info. I'm getting a number of companies to come quote, because I also got to get I actually have to get roofing companies in here to quote on the skylights, because we have issues with one of them. So I need to get it repaired.
Yeah, no, I'll send it to you. They needed to be, I'll send it to you and talk to you about it.
Cuckoo. Oh, got another one. Ty, you're setting records.
Yeah, sorry, man.
No worries.
Justin's in a hurry today, and he's going to have more editing than usual. And
all good.
It's starting to get to be like, we're going to have a hot weekend this weekend. So lawn stuff is going to start picking up, which is nice. I don't see. Then again, I was wrong last time. Frosty weather coming back. We're coming to the end of March, and it looks like we're going to be in the teens, right?
Yeah, it still shifts quite a bit. Like, I was looking at it.
It's going down to 3 or 5 degrees at night.
When it comes to the lawn, you want to have like a good 2 weeks of solid weather, and not like it's coming. It's definitely getting closer, but it's at least nice. Like yesterday was sunny. It's not super warm, but we're
gonna have summer weather this weekend. But,
and then it's
not going to be consistent rain, right? So maybe we're waiting until April. But either way,
do you have a tag on your arm? What is that on your arm?
Yeah. So I like this shirt so much. When I went shopping last weekend with all my gift certificates, that I bought 2 of them. Mm-hmm. This one just came in the mail, so I'm just making sure that it actually fits properly before I. And it's still nice spring weather in the morning, so the tag is still covered by my jacket.
Yeah, you look lovely.
Thank you, sir.
What do we got this week in PoE?
This week in PoE was huge.
Oh, that's right. There was some stuff I saw.
I think actually, let's do this first before this week in PoE.
You're switching things up.
Yeah. I just wanted to give a big kudos to the current mods for the Path of Exile Reddit. They have been extremely helpful to us specifically, but also very, in the past, some mods with some of the content that I or we have posted have been swayed by popularity or negativity.
A number, to me, it's a low number of loud people.
If I had a post and it had negative feedback, it would be removed, or I would be told not to post that or something like that. But it was just basically, it was negative feedback from people that aren't in if the post was about the podcast, they're not in the demographic for the podcast. They're just not the people that would like this podcast. Or if it was,
or they just didn't like
one
Tyler.
of my builds, right? Like I specifically, because of the builds that I post, that they're not min-maxed the way that the community would. There's people out there that for some reason think that I'm a douche and I shouldn't
They need
post
to type.
that. And so anyway, though some of those posts would get negative feedback and then they would be removed. And I know a lot of the mods do a fantastic job, and the current ones have done a phenomenal job. So anyway, that was kind of like a summary of a bit of the past. Now, Justin and I, we had our post again, I guess it would be 2 weeks ago now, about our podcast on Reddit, and we follow all the rules, not going through loopholes. We just want to be happy posters and do a good job. Anyway, for some reason, this one was specifically targeted and attacked, and it had lots of negative numbers about it. And the mods were fantastic. They threw out, the opinions, and they specifically went with the rules, but they were also very communicative with us in both publicly and privately about suggestions on how we could post or this and that. And they were wonderful. They were very hands-on, and they spent a lot of time. And so I just wanted to give them a congratulations and a big thanks, because
not
that
an easy
extra
thing
time.
to do.
No, it's not. And it's not like I'm not the only poster that people hate. You know what I mean? Like it's the Path of Exile Reddit.
Yeah, it's not always the nicest community, and I think there are unfortunately sometimes a few people who get loud. But also to those few people, because I know some of you still listen, just piss off. Just don't type. You can scroll past. That's the beauty of the internet. You have a little wheel on your mouse that allows you to continue to scroll. Just continue to scroll. And
so and Justin and I are used to this now. I mean, we're on episode 232, right? So it's where we've figured out how to deal with it personally and emotionally, but it's just one of those things. It was a very, very focused attack per se. And the mods were fantastic through all of it because they didn't know how we felt about it. So they were both encouraging, they were edifying with advice, and they made choices based on the rules as opposed to popularity in the past. So congratulations to all the new and existing mods for the Path of Exile Reddit. I did want to shout out, though, this individual just a moment. We have on our website the opportunity to sign up for a newsletter, which we do not do. But you're more than welcome to sign up for it. But we don't send out any mailing lists. But somebody who was a part of this attack decided to sign up for our mailing list, and I wanted to shout them out.
So earmuffs if you have kids.
Yes, earmuffs for the next 10 seconds. This person signed up for our mailing list. We should probably email just to make sure it's legit. Go fuck yourself with your shitty podcast at suckmyballs.com.
Which cracks me up.
It's hilarious because they have a spelling mistake. They didn't even say with. It's QITH. So it's go fuck yourself with your shitty podcast at
just like angry typing.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because that meant they went to our website just to do that.
And then clicked on contact and then filled out their information.
Yeah. You're full of it, person who did that. You love us. I can tell.
They totally know. It's a love-hate thing, right?
Also, thanks for visiting the website and, helping our Google ranking.
Right.
Appreciate it.
That's right. Anyway, I want to get that out there just in case, because this is actually a really cool week in PoE land. Obviously, we have 3.24 coming out. The announcement is next week. And so
we got to figure that out. I got ideas.
Right. So for next week, for listeners, Justin's going to be gone. Justin's not going to be here for our usual schedule. So we have to record ahead of time, and we are recording.
Maybe not. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. I have an idea for us to actually record whilst I'm in Victoria. I already talked with Christina about it last night, and on Friday morning, maybe recording from my hotel room. But what it would mean,
can Christina be there?
Here's what it would mean, though. It would mean that episode would not be edited. because I would not have the software to do it. So what we would do instead is we would record via the system we use for interviews, which records everything into one, which gives me the ability to properly put it out. But it does mean that if there were pauses or coughs, that's just what you get.
And I am coughing lots.
Maybe not by next week. But I also thought if we went that route, because it's the 233rd episode, which is lots of curly numbers, which you like, plus it's the release of the announcement for 3.24, maybe we just leave it as it is and let it be. It would be video too. It would be like how that system records. Which would provide me with the YouTube video, but it would be actually.
Will we show our faces on the video?
Yeah. Because it would be different, because I can't do.
But I'm wearing my fancy shirt this week.
I know you'd have to wash it or something.
I'll wear it again next week.
But that's my idea. I figured that way we can still talk about the 3.24 announcement, because I'll watch it while I'm on the island. They're only like 30 minutes, right? So I'll skip the PoE 2. I'll skip the PoE 2
like 2
part.
hours.
No, I won't watch the whole questioning part. So that would be a Tyler thing. Tyler would tell me what happened on the.
Justin just edited out my 400th cough, so this is looking really good for next weekend.
But that's the thought. That way we can talk about PoE 2. She would take the kids out for breakfast in the morning. I'd chill at the hotel room. We'd record. I'd take what I need to just get the recording done, but it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same quality as we typically have. It wouldn't be, fully flushed out on the edited side. So
what's that? The 22nd?
Yes, the 22nd. It would be Friday morning. So you'd have to figure out if that works for you, but that's the thought.
It does, and it doesn't even conflict with the Australian GP.
So
what would we do for AD?
After Dark will still record early, so that After Dark gets a proper edited, thing. Because I also wouldn't have time to do both. Like I need to. Yeah,
you don't want to monopolize your time away with you.
So we'd still. In fact, what I thought would be fun for After Dark is we would record After Dark earlier, so that would be this week, and this would be our. We're gonna make calls. We're gonna say what 3.24 is gonna be, and then that will come out after we actually do our reaction to the 3.24 and talk about 3.24. But then After Dark patrons would get to hear how close
all the stupid guesses we came up with.
So that was the thought. So yeah, might switch it up a little bit.
I'm gonna have to drink tonight because I don't think I'll be able to come up with anything ridiculous and then want to talk about it for more than 2 seconds afterwards.
Well, that will be After Dark that we would record later this week, right? Because it would be for next week. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my thinking. I had that thought last night. I talked with Christina. She said that works for her. So I figured, why not? If we can make it work.
Why not, eh?
Why not, eh?
Anyway. Well, there you go, people. 30 minutes of this, and we're getting into this week in PoE, but that's a good idea.
Accept if the audio is not great, it is what it is. I'm not taking. I can't.
La vie.
I can't.
It'll sound like all the other podcasts.
That's right. It will. It'll be better.
It's not like it'll suck for us, but
I just won't listen to it
because I can't. People will be used to it.
I can't handle
with the exception of those that like you're listening to it on your like nicer headphones or something like that. You're going for a run and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, that's
he tried to pretend to cough and now he actually died.
Oh, that really started something.
So anyway, that's a thought.
You're gonna have to start talking more because the more
I talk,
here we go. Coffee.
I'll lead us into this week in PoE. So we got an announcement. Weekend skill effect sales.
Okay, that's nice. Move on. Yep.
Xbox patch notes, also 2.23.2 patch notes. Wow, we only made it to 0.2 in the patch notes for 3.23. Cool. Added 1,070 more foiled uniques.
How many are there? I mean, I think somebody did the math for us last time. Right. That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's cool though. That's out.
All mage bloods and headhunters.
They're going to be at PAX East, so that'll be cool if you're going to PAX East coming up. And then whatever's happening next week or something in LA, we don't know, but maybe we'll find out at some point.
That one's been pretty hush hush, eh?
They haven't said boo about it. It's just streamers.
That's what all the streamers are saying, that they're getting covered to go.
Yeah, it's weird. Affliction going bye-bye everything. They're like, your tinctures are gone, charms are gone, the rucksack's gone. Makes sense.
Justin's saying that the Affliction League is not going core.
No, which we knew that. Come on. It's too bad about the ascendancies because I really did like the Wildwood ascendancies, but I can imagine that that's a hard thing to balance around
Sure.
with everything else that's, going to be coming out.
It was just testing for PoE too, to see how like different types of interactions would be decent for whatever ascendancies. I mean, if they still haven't even figured out how minions are going to work, they're still looking to, like, if you don't know how minions work, you're like, you can't really solidify many of your ascendancies yet, right?
Yep.
So but that makes sense. And that was quite, I mean, we all knew it wasn't going to make it just because of the currency nut jam, but what a great league. Like, to me, this is what a league should be. Mm-hmm. You have whatever superpower that the league provides or unique instance, and then it's gone. And that's it. Like, that's what a league is. And what a great league. Like,
it was so fun.
So few people dislike this league. This goes up there. Like, I wasn't a fan of the league itself. It just didn't suit my style. But, well, I liked the basics of it. Like, I liked making my normal maps harder. I thought that was fantastic. And that is up my alley. I like the more difficult the content, the better. Again, like all these PoE 2 conversations happening, I like knowing why it's difficult. You know what I mean? As against my character. But so it was nice going in there, making the map more difficult and coming out. I wasn't into like the whole making sure it had the perfect balance of things with, and balancing all the different, sections and everything else you did to juice the map. And then getting 18 divines. I mean, the 18 divines would have been nice per map, but I just like making it more difficult. And it was great. It would have, I mean, I see you putting it up there with Sentinel as one of your favorites.
Sentinel and Breach for sure. It was definitely one of my favorites. They were saying, I'm just looking on the camera. I see a guy walking around my house now. The exclusive uniques are going to be added to the core, except for that which was taken, which is too bad because that which was taken was a lot of fun, but makes sense that they're going to take that out. So.
And they were even thoughtful with the bonus inventory space that you got from the backpack or the rucksack.
But that it'll be remove only. Yeah.
Yeah, but they kept it. It's not things that just aren't getting deleted. So that's pretty neat. Good for GG. Extra thought.
An interview. Jonathan apparently did an interview with Preach, or is doing one. Wait, did he do it? Or it's
passed. Cool. I've watched it already. It was nice and short.
Yeah.
It was like an hour.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Yeah, it was great. And the questions were good. Unfortunately, nothing's new.
Sure.
Right. Like, they were questions that interested Preach. And I like Preach because for some reason he has power or sway. Like, I remember the last time he was on wraeclast, some of his opinions or scoffs towards how our game was made some impact. Like, the very next major patch included some of the things that he was scoffing at, even though those were things that GGG were in the past sticks from a fan's perspective, sticks in the mud about. Mm-hmm. So for whatever reason, his fame or popularity, he had that kind of sway. So I was excited to see the kind of stuff that he mentioned. And to me, it didn't matter if they were old things or repeated questions, because if they were repeated questions about things like death logs or your F1 section is not helpful, right? Your help section was not helpful. And he brought those things up, but he's really good at pushing and following through. So even though none of the responses were new, I did appreciate the fact that he was a part of the interview process with GGG. Jonathan, kudos to you if you ever hear this. You're so good at not taking offense. Like, you're a part of all the decisions, and at the end of the day, the state of Path of Exile 1 is on you and your team, and you do such a good job at not taking offense, because so many questions are based on people's dislike about a PoE feature or lack of. And he does such a good job at being humble and be like, you know what, I agree, we need to fix that. And I mean, obviously there's the excitement of Path of Exile 2 fixing. Like, Path of Exile 2 is the game that Jonathan always wished Path of Exile 1 would be, but there were technical limitations on a 10-year-old game and all that kind of stuff. So I get, you can kind of push that emotionally over, but he does such a very good job at not snapping and keeping it together and being polite through it all. So yeah, cool. It was good. It was interesting, but there was nothing new, except for there was the one part that was clipped by Sid in our Discord, where it's Preach talking about being able to skip the campaign. Right.
Okay.
From like you've already played through the campaign once or twice and you can skip it. And Jonathan's not against like different ways of going through the campaign or making it faster or having other leveling methods, but purely skipping and just like jumping to level 70 or whatever it was. He was like, it would have to be, Jonathan said this, he's like, it would have to be a really cold day in hell for me to approve that.
I wouldn't ever want them to have the ability to just like jump to 60 or 70 or something, but I just would love something that was an alternative, faster way to get to the end.
A quicker way. Yeah, definitely. So that was good by Preach. Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
And then but if you skipped it, if you you don't have to watch it, you're not going to learn anything from it. Mm-hmm. Especially because it was like a week before all this announcement stuff is coming out this coming weekend.
Right.
For both Path of Exile 2 and 3.24.
Yeah. So then that's the other thing that was up is obviously on March 21st, you're going to have the live event on their Twitch. And then they had quite a few like mini quality of life things that I saw them Twitter about through the week. And they look awesome. I actually really like a number of them. My favorite is Breach Hands. Hold on. Let me mark it down. Breach Hands opening automatically is my favorite one, I think, or one of my favorite hands.
5 massive QoL changes for Path of Exile 1, obviously Path of Exile 1, but they're big.
Like they are. I'm confused about a couple. Maybe it's just that I don't really like.
Let's just go through them. Do you want to start at the top or bottom?
Sure. In Path of Exile, Necropolis, Veiled Orbs have been reworked. Flasks can be corrupted. Masters are no longer mutually exclusive and can appear in the same map. And the craft to upgrade your amulet to a talisman has been moved to a bestiary. I actually don't know where the current craft to change an amulet to a talisman is right now. Like they're saying it's being moved to bestiary. I actually don't know what the current method is to craft your amulet into a talisman. So that's cool. I do actually really like that masters are no longer mutually exclusive in the sense that they can show up in the same map.
Yeah.
But then I'm curious, what does that mean for the Atlas with regards to that?
That's going to be exciting to see the Atlas changes and like percentages for master to show, or can you start blocking masters now? Because that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, but also why? Like, what would be the reason to block them now? If they're not mutually exclusive and they can be in the same one, what would be? I'm not really totally sold. I think the thing that I'm curious about is how it will affect all of the other stuff, because GGG has this rule with their tile sets within maps that masters take up certain amounts of tile sets, and if you could potentially have 2 or 3 masters showing up in the same map, how many other things are you losing that you want in the map, other league mechanics? So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. The flasks being corrupted, that makes me really nervous.
Where'd you go?
I'm still in the same one. Flasks can be corrupted now. Like what are the mods that can roll on a corrupted flask? And can I completely bugger up my well-rolled that took me forever to alt spam to get what I needed? Yeah. Like, I'm curious what that.
Just don't val it, but I love the ability. Everything should be valable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, I'm trying to think what can roll. What like, is it all of the normal mods that could roll as corrupted, or is there a new set of mods?
I'm sure they have a new set. I'm sure
it'd be interesting to see.
But they changed how quality works with that too, right?
Oh, how so? I didn't.
Right. Well,
I didn't
like all these changes, many of these changes, especially the ones where we're talking about the veiled orbs and the flasks, and then the talismans, those are all related to what's it called? Not Sanctum, the one with Katarina.
Betrayal.
Yeah, Betrayal. They're all related to Betrayal and Betrayal rewards, and so the Betrayal masters have had some of the rewards reworked, which they haven't announced too much about. And remember the 3.24 backdrop? It had the 2 what looks Katarina like bosses, and one of them we're pretty sure is Katarina, and the other one we're pretty sure is Lycia. Yeah, from Sanctum or Britannia, probably the one from Sanctum.
It's Sanctum, yeah.
With all of these changes to a core mechanic, which is Betrayal. Yeah, I'm wondering, have they already decided that 3.24 is going core? Like, as they're bringing Katarina into a league, maybe, as what it seems like. We haven't seen the announcement yet. Yeah, this is coming out after the announcement, right?
No, before.
Right, this is the one episode before. So it looks like they're changing stuff to do with Katarina, but now all of a sudden they're changing lots to do with Betrayal as well. But these are like core changes that we're seeing, right? These revamps of how veiled orbs and flasks being corrupted and talismans moving to bestiary. Like, it's just, there's quite the intertwine there. So I'm very curious to see what this coming league is going to be about, considering, like, my question's like, why are the changes now?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, QoL is something that we've always wanted. And we're going to go through some of the other QoL stuff too. But why is it this league? You know what I mean? As opposed to the previous league, or as opposed to 325. Like, what is it? What's so special about 324 that's happening now? We'll probably find out as we discover what the league
it may
is
not be
going
related to 324 at all, too, right? It's possible that, I mean, some of these
Could
quality of life things are just, they've been wanting to do them. And I think I saw people, you know, I saw some of the tweets and the posts and stuff where people were like, oh, you take like 8 years to do this. That's ridiculous. And why even do it with PoE 2 coming out, blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, well, but their plan is to maintain PoE 1. So why wouldn't they increase quality of life? Like, that just makes sense. And also, who cares? Just be happy about it. Like, it's when we get new quality of life improvements, that's a benefit. Even if PoE 2 is 3, 4, 5, 6 months away, I'll take it.
Right. So some of the, so anyway, it's going to be quite exciting to see what new mods can roll on flasks and all that. I mean, some people are kind of concerned about the rewards that they used to fetch and farm for. And okay, so now how am I going to do it? Yeah. But remember, they haven't stated how, you know, any of the workarounds or how it's going to happen. And they did want certain things to become a little bit more rare. They were too powerful. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for that. It does really put a spotlight on 324 for me, just because they have the whole Katarina bit, though. I
didn't see that, but that's cool. I mean, I'm excited to see what 324 is anyway.
And then they made it that Veiled Orbs can only drop from Katarina now.
Oh, was that the change regarding Veiled Orbs? They only drop from Katarina?
Yeah.
Well, so that, I guess, okay, then I do agree with you a little bit. Like, is there some league mechanic where Katarina becomes more around? Because to farm Katarina is not a slow process. So in its current state. So,
true. I have that one, though. I don't invest into what's her face.
I know you use the one where you get like a percentage every time you finish a map.
Find it.
It's in the top.
Yeah, it's called Intelligence Gathering, where I just get that 10 intelligence to a random syndicate safe house.
The only problem with that,
I fight her probably more than any other boss. And
yeah, the only problem though with that node is that if you're actually trying to farm betrayal, it does affect it in a negative way. But yes, I do agree. Next one up was Necropolis opening breach hands in the heat of battle got easier. They now open when you walk over them. I love that, because opening breach hands was so hard.
Oh, can't tell you how many times I was too scared to or died to, especially with controller support. Like not being able to flick the right analog stick to get it right away. And
is that what you had to do? See, I didn't know how it worked.
Because if it doesn't show, that's right.
Yeah, I think that's a great change. Love it. Yep, super good.
It acts basically like Abyss now. And then it's funny, some of the other comments I see on there, because I first saw it on Twitter, so then some of the other tweet replies are like, well, why don't you do that to doors, and why don't you do that to this, and why don't you just like, I get it, but you know,
doors are different.
Breach, it's great.
Like breach is chaos. It's so chaotic in a breach that trying to click on that tiny little thing, and especially if you were trying to actually focus on breach, where there were more breach hands, the breach hands were more valuable, then you felt like you had to, but you risked potentially dying to it. So I think that's awesome. I love that change.
Yeah, I agree. And another thing about doors, and I know people aren't going to like this, so hopefully GGG isn't listening, but monsters can't come through doors. So some people keep the doors locked on purpose, shoot their SRS or fireballs or whatever through the doors, kill them all, and then open the door. And you can't do that with automatic openings.
Wait, you can shoot it through closed doors?
Yeah, lots of projectiles go through doors,
certain types of doors. Yeah, like the doors in like prison styles, but like solid doors they don't go through. But I do know what you mean.
Where are there solid doors?
In the Val Temple style map, those are solid like stone doors. Well, they don't go through that.
Nobody's talking about that. It's stupid.
Well, there's anyway.
Those would be cool to be automatic.
I can understand why they're not, though. It's a door. Doors don't magically open when you walk towards them. And I understand why they do in what's the
Last Epoch?
No. The
Diablo.
The league mechanic that drives me crazy with what's her face? Alva. I understand why those doors open automatically, because it's a timed event, and to have to make somebody open a door in a timed event is a little unfair. But also, the only thing I remember joking about when we talked about that in way in the past is like, you know, they have the technology like those.
Oh, right. They know they've seen the fork.
In Path of Exile Necropolis, you can control left click or console equivalent to reapply socket and quality currencies. I did see this, and this confused me when I read the Twitter, but then I watched the video and it made more sense where you're just holding down. Whereas when I first read this, I was like, what? I shift click right now. How is this any different? But now it's once you click once, you just hold down and it just keeps going, which is really cool. The only other one thing that would be nice is like if you've got 400 fusings and you're unlikely to 6-link, I would love if there was some ability to say stop at 5, like to tell the game,
at 5
hey, I'll take 5 or plus. Yeah, if I get at least 5, I'm fine with you stopping, and then it would, you could hold down and it would stop at that. But it's still a nice fix because especially like when you're 6-socketing and that kind of stuff. This is, I think, the one where I saw people were like, this doesn't even matter. PoE 2 is coming out. And I was like, what? But
oh, really?
PoE 1's not disappearing. So calm down.
Interesting that it goes for quality currency as well, though, because that you don't have to spam a lot for quality currency.
No, but I guess just why not make it work for everything?
Sure.
Help people's wrists, which is awesome. Another quality of life improvement, Path of Exile Necropolis, the ability to control, shift, click a stackable item to move all copies of it in your inventory straight into trade. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so they gave the video example was like 20 stacks of divines, 20 stacks of chaos, 20 stacks of valors. And so when you do that, it doesn't send your whole trade window over. It only sends
all of that.
Yeah,
currency.
So if you click on divines, it sends all your divines. Then you have to. Yeah, I do like that. And that one's a really good one. That one's like a response to the bot that people use to shove currency over, right?
Well, not even the bot. You could remap your like scroll wheel or something to left click to make it faster. Now I do like this because I never did the remapping, and I always laughed when I would like trade with someone for say 400 or 600 chaos, and they're just like, I was like, wow, how did they do that so freaking fast? Like, meanwhile, when I'm trading for 400 chaos, the poor person on the other side's like, oh my God, guy, hurry up. I'm like, just a minute. Control. Click,
highlight.
Click.
Highlight.
Click. Like it takes forever. Yeah. So I think that's cool. I still wish you could see the totals that you had traded so that, because you still need to be aware of how many you're putting into there. So, but that is a nice change.
Yes, it is. Very cool.
This one, actually, I changed my mind. This one was my favorite one. In Path of Exile Necropolis, they have a plethora of quality of life improvements. The first one being you upgrade a Pantheon power with a Divine Vessel. You now get to keep that upgrade on all characters across the league. This one is one I feel like should have been in a long time ago. I hated the fact that I had to redo a Pantheon for a character if I wanted the same one. So I really do like this one, especially because if you think about it now, you do get a benefit while you're leveling up as well. Because if I've got a character that's into end game and I've been upgrading their Pantheon, and I've got maybe the Brine King all the way done, and maybe the bleed one or whatever the other one is, the benefit now for my character once they unlock the Pantheon and that particular god is I get all the benefits of that Pantheon. I really, really like that.
Well, you only get if let's say you've unlocked all the Pantheon options with the previous character and you're coming through with a new character, you don't have to do the Divine Vessel stuff over, but you still have to kill the boss.
Right, but that happens campaign anyway. Like you're going to do that
with most of
them,
campaign. Right? Like not with the mapping ones. Maybe eventually with the mapping ones.
What do you mean mapping ones? What mapping ones?
Well, like all the secondary ones. The primary ones you get through the campaign. But all the
secondary
ones where you have to kill the War Master and whatever map and this and that, you still have to kill those bosses with those characters to get those secondary attributes, right? Like you still have to kill the bosses. You just don't have to worry about it being a Divine Vessel.
Are you sure?
Yep. Yeah, they said that in the video. You still have to kill the bosses to get the perk.
Yeah, but the first boss. Hold on. I'm marking on your cough. And while I do that, I want to see that. Because if that's true, I don't like that at all. Holy crap. That's a rough one, guy. Give me a second. Yeah. Okay. So you only have to kill the god, which happens through the campaign. But all of the upgrades to that god will automatically be given to the character once they unlock the god. So if I do the Brine King,
that all the secondary ones
specifically.
Okay.
Yeah. Which that makes sense to me, because if it was the other way around, I wouldn't like that. I love the fact, though, that if I go Brine King on my main character and I play through and I upgrade him and I get all 4 of the upgrades to that god, and then I go through another character in an Act 6 kill Brine King, now I have all 4 of those bonuses right away. I think that's amazing, because You're talking about there's just so many things you can do that will benefit you a little bit through leveling. So I really like that change. Yeah, that's
interesting.
cool.
I really like it as well, especially as a standard player. I'm curious if they're going to change the drop rates of divine vessels at all. I think they're rare enough as it is, and I think that's
Even
great.
better
I wonder
now.
if they're going to make divine vessels have an alternate function now, because once you have it all unlocked, like why pick up divine vessels, right? So maybe they'll add a different function for. Yes and no. I don't know. Like, there's still a reason to pick up alterations, even if your character's set up, because alterations are a big deal. Chaos are a big deal, even though you might not need them per se. They still have a function, no matter how set up you are. Whereas divine vessels will cease to have a function for you.
Yeah, but I mean,
and I can't think of many other currencies that would actually become completely irrelevant. Like, sure, people don't pick up scrolls of wisdom, right? Once you have 5,000, but you always have to ID items. Whereas what does the divine vessel do once you have everything unlocked?
I know, but to unlock everything is still quite a few divine vessels. Like, you may have the ones you always go to, but if you're talking about four of the primary ones, which have 4 upgrades, so that's 12 just for that. Plus you've got however many there are with their extra ones. Like, I do understand what you're saying, but I still think that it's fine if they don't give it an alternative function. Like, I'm thinking about when you go to fight, what's the one where you use the 4 shards to go fight? Oh my God, I'm so out of Path of Exile thinking. The corruption ones, there's the 4.
Atziri?
Yeah, where you go to fight Atziri. At a certain point, you can continue to pick them up, but they don't have a function if you don't need to do Atziri besides adding 5% quantity to your map. But you're also, if you're using those, you're probably using sextants. So then there's not a huge benefit to them as you go and progress further into the league.
Sure,
so,
but there's still a function. I can't think of anything else in the game where the function is dead.
Sure. Like trade.
Outside of now, what divine vessels would be if they don't come up with an alternate function.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they come up with something, but I'm totally fine if they don't. I love this change. I think it's so nice to be able to get onto a character and not have to go do silly white maps that have no benefit to you just to run through a quick, not even rolled one just to get the divine vessel. So yeah, it's slowly gotten better. Once they stopped you having to go to Sin, then you'd be able to change it whenever you want. And so I like that. That's a good change. I think that makes leveling up a little bit better too, because the idea that when you get a god now on a secondary character, you'll have all of the things unlocked. It also makes it so that maybe you can go on you pull up a second character and maybe there's a specific pantheon that you want, but those maps might be a little bit too hard for your newer character. You can go actually on your primary character and go kill them off and upgrade the pantheon, and it counts for everybody. So I like that.
And that is one of those small things, like when Jonathan is being interviewed for...
When Jonathan...
cough, cough, cough. When Jonathan's being interviewed for Path of Exile 2 and people keep repeating the same, what about a deathlock? What about this? What about that? He keeps coming up with, and it's not a disagreement, it's just his response is, we're fixing so many little things that are massive QoL for the HUD and visibility and this and that we're hoping that's going to fix the issue without needing to put something ugly on the screen that you have to read that kind of takes you out of combat mode. And so there's so many little things, and some of those little things are for like when you're going through with the second character and leveling again, what makes it faster? Well, this is one of those things in Path of Exile 1, unlocking those things. I mean, sure, it's a little bit later in the game, but it's one of those ideas and mentalities, those small little changes where it's like, you don't need divine vessels as you're going through the campaign. And yeah, that makes you much stronger all of a sudden. And then it also gives that unique perspective to the first playthrough. It's like, I'm going to, instead of rush, I'm going to do a little bit more extensive mapping than normal, just so that I have all those pantheons, and then every other character I make is going to have them. And they did say that there is also an option to disable them if there's one that's going to negatively conflict with a new build that you have. You can disable some if you want.
Disable
a pantheon option, because there's going to be some that maybe conflict with some cool build idea or mechanic that you have.
Wait,
maybe you want to be poisoned more, and you don't want to have that poison resist on or something. I don't know, stuff like that.
Huh. Wait, so you can disable some of the secondary features to a god's power.
Yeah. Really smart that they're coming out with that. That's not something that
I didn't see that.
Pantheon's released. Yeah, go for it.
I just rewatched it. I didn't. I don't hear him say that. The only thing that I'm a little curious about, I just pulled up the video and I'm making it bigger screen so I can see what's happening here. But like they show, oh, I see. Upgrade effects do not apply until the quest and end to hunger is completed. What is an end to hunger?
It's Act 5. Oh, or maybe, I don't know if it's Act 5 or Act 10, but it's
Kitava? Oh, so an end to is Act 10. So all the secondary ones don't kick in until you've completed the campaign. Okay, so it doesn't actually affect your leveling. So
that's too bad.
Just rewind there. So it doesn't actually kick in. Okay, so it's not. I mean, it's still nice. It's not as nice as I was hoping. I really think that shouldn't be the case. I feel like once you kill the god, you should get all the bonuses. But I didn't see anything in there about the ability to disable certain parts of a.
Yeah, I don't know where I read it then, but that's the thing.
Interesting.
Bird.
Cool. Did you play this week?
No, I don't think I played any video games this week. I played Formula 1, but I got the crap kicked out of me by health. So I did nothing. I couldn't even watch like shows at night. I just went to bed early almost every night except for Monday night. Oh, and then Ryan took me out to a game, which was nice on one of the evenings. But besides that, I was just a deadbeat all week. Always Theorycraft, no. But I mean, now that I'm thinking this is like a quality of life league, and for some reason, because it's called Necropolis and it's Graveyard, I'm thinking Minions, and I'm like, gah! So, but I'll be playing actually quite a lot this week. I've having that 1 week where I don't turn the game on at all. I don't know. I'm going through kind of like this withdrawal, and I need to scratch my itch, and so I need to get back in there and then do some maps.
Yeah. I didn't play either. I did play, thanks to the person on YouTube actually that made a comment, because I was talking about Chrono Trigger with you guys last week, and I was playing through 1 minute. I was playing through a couple other Chrono Trigger style games, like that JRPG style, and somebody told me about Sea of Stars, so I picked Sea of Stars up and played that this week. It was fun. I didn't have a ton of time to play, but it was a fun game. And now we got Dragon's Dogma coming out in a little bit, which I'm excited about. And
that's right. We're going to be talking about 3.24 like crazy, but playing Dragon's Dogma. Dragon's Dogma comes out next week, man.
I won't be here when it comes out. Actually, in fact, is the day that I'm thinking we record. Am I taking you? I am. I'm taking you away from playing Dragon's Dogma for a little bit.
That's all right. We're recording after dark early, and it'll be in the morning.
It'll be in the morning. So you got the whole afternoon.
And, depending on what I'm doing on the 21st, Pacific Standard Time, the game comes out 9 p.m. on the 21st.
Oh, get out. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Dang, I'm going to be gone. That's all right. I'll play it when I
So I'm going to be a deadbeat for our actual live episode, because I'm going to be playing 9 p.m. to like whoever. I mean, whenever I can't stay awake late, but yeah.
Well, that's sweet. All right, cool. Well, that's going to be fun. So I think, do you have anything else, or are we going to, let's wrap this up. Sweet. So next week is the announcement. That'll be fun. And yeah.
And you get to see our pretty faces. YouTubers.
That's the current plan. You never know what'll happen. Things could change, but that's the current plan.
Oh man. I hope you're like high on something.
Then?
Yeah. For our actual video episode, you're like,
okay. So yeah. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, AK Tags.
And I'm Tyler Record Days.
Patrons, we will catch you in After Dark. Everybody else, we'll see you next week for 233 with the announcement from GGG regarding 3.24 and whatever, some PoE 2 stuff. I'm sure will be in there. Thanks everybody for supporting the podcast. I think I said patrons will see you in After Dark. Anyway, if you're looking for more information, you'll find down below. We've got a website, foreverexiled.com, or on Twitter, foreverexiled82. Pop into Discord, say hi. And patrons, other ways to support the podcast. You'll find them down below as well as on the website.
Peace out, yo.
Totally.
Actually, it should be yos, plural. Peace out, yos. Yeah, sounds rad.